Hello today. How's everybody doing today? Day 18 of the standing meditation for empowerment, beauty, and well-being. It can be challenging to get up off your butt and do something like this every day, huh? We're going to start with the two-step very gently. But I mean, this is the experience. If you want to practice preventative medicine, stress relief, things to not have to go to the doctor, to not be on medication. It's pretty much an everyday thing, discipline. I'm going to tell you what the real key is. The key is you have to find a practice that you really like to do. Like if you watch me while I'm practicing, obviously I'm getting a lot of really positive playback. You can see it, right? You can see the release, And for many of you who might try some of the practices, like you're not getting those experiences, you know what I mean? So you might, like right now, just stepping from one side to the other. For many of you, you're like, nothing's happening. And that's why the greatest challenge with this type of, we're dealing with very subtle energy. And for many people whose minds are very active, whose days are very, very busy, who are taking on loads of stress, that can be almost impossible to do, to turn off the stress of your life and be able to tune into your subtle energy. It's a decision basically you have to make. It's a whole other way of living. Like right now with these very gentle steps, if you can't set aside your day, not think about what you're going to do next. Something like this practice is basically about you entering a little more deeply into the moment. That's all it is. These are different movements to kind of move your energy around, the left, the right, up, down, the front, the back. When you think a lot, when you're worried a lot, your energy gets pulled into your head, into your heart, your lungs. That's why you constantly see the focus of my practice. It's about trying to either bring your energy into the ground with the stances. Like this here, we're trying to just feel ourselves into our feet. Feeling the contact of your feet with the earth. But the first exercise is always something very simple. A little bit of movement, just to get you out of the normal schizophrenic mind state of our world. Just left, right. Now we're going to just very gently just step and rotate to the left. Always doing your best to feel the internal organs as you move. That's where the health part comes in. Again, today's practice is more subtle. The whole week, if you notice, this week has been more subtle. Like in the beginning, I was more, and you might feel a need for that, but this week, the feeling has just been more soft. Probably because I've had a very tiring week, physically very demanding week. But we're still practicing. We're still processing the Mogami. Starting to feel pretty good now. I'll tell you, one of the challenges to doing this work is just to try to time filming these videos in between other people coming and going. The groundskeepers coming and cutting the grass. It's been an interesting experience. Like, this is the third week. Well, very enjoyable. I have to admit, I've enjoyed it. Really have. starting to get some good release in the internal organs now. Here we go. Now we'll do the same thing in the opposite direction. And remember, today is the most intense day as far as our grounding goes. But we really want to make sure we get warmed up. Because after we finish this, it's going to be 15 minutes of pure horse stance. So let's get ready to go as deep as we can. Get your mind down deep into the earth. We want the earth to be friends with the earth. Our experience sometimes life can be so hostile, so competitive. You'll forget that the earth herself is your ally. She's our mother. I mean, we as humans still haven't, solved all of our egotistical differences, but the earth, she's neutral. I'm really feeling my feet come alive now. I want to reiterate, this area of the body, the solar plexus, that's where the feeling of how strong you feel in your body is reflected. Think about when you're nervous or anxious, you get the butterflies in this area. Allowing the energy of the body to blend with energy of the earth. All right, there's our third 5 minutes. Should be getting moving now. Now we're gonna get into the now we get into the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes of the practice, man. You know what I'm saying, man. We got to get into the horse stance. And today I want you to focus on turning your toes inward so that maybe possibly you can feel the stress fall onto the outside of your thighs. I don't know, my accent. Need to leave that alone. Yes. Let's consciously turn the toes inward. That's going to put a little more of the weight on the outside. At least give it a try. You know, like I said, everybody's a little, you might have to turn outward, inward, play around. The goal is to get the majority of the weight to fall into the hips. When we align the hips, the thighs, and the spine, we can begin to relax the muscles. Now, because there's small internal constrictions that we're attempting to relax with the posture, in the beginning, you might not be balanced. One foot might be kind of like this, or one leg's over here. That's normal. But what will happen is over the course of the practice, the goal is to relax internally, and hopefully the body will be shifting more and more into the ideal alignment. Sometimes 15 minutes isn't enough. Let's keep the hands in the neutral core for this posture. Anywhere in this line. Feeling the contact of the feet. All right, now with the power of our mind, relax the ankles. The greatest challenge is to relax the knees. Thinking deeper. There's a little better spot. You want to feel across the solar plexus. If you find the right position, you should be able to relax. And in this area of the body, you get a release. The the body will broaden. Our first 5. I notice as I start to relax some of the tension, my right foot always seems like it wants to go out this way a little bit. But then when I finally settle in, it'll come back in. So now, let's hold. Let's do the yang posture first today. I'm not going to go as high. I'm going to stay right here at the solar plexus. That was a nice little release. Absorbing power. You study the structure of the hips. Very interesting bone structure. Intricate, with some very unique shapes. And anybody who knows architecture or anything about structural engineering, there are sacred geometrical alignments between weight-bearing structures that when you place the weight-bearing elements in the proper alignment, and then you apply pressure on them, it's like they're stronger. There are alignments that actually can be created that will absorb energy, meaning that when you put energy into the structure, more energy comes out. That's the way the bone structure of the hips are. If you can align your hips to the pull of gravity, your body will be energized as you move around. But if your hips are off of alignment, particularly tension in the lower back, it's the opposite. You're drained. Ooh. Yeah. Now we're settling a little deeper. And with the power of your mind, you're allowing your awareness to sink deep. If you could, you would almost want to take your awareness into the earth, into the ground beneath you. Can you explore the moist, deep earth beneath you with just your imagination? 5 minutes. I know it's getting challenging. Try to make any adjustments you need to make for the final 5 minutes. Bring in the elbow. Push the hips forward a little bit more. See if you can actually sit back into your hips. Ooh. Yeah. As you attempt to relax, it's always the internal organs. Like with your mind, the same way yesterday when we did the sound, we focused on the internal organs. As you're trying to relax the muscles, you should be aware of tension deep inside the core of your body. And the tension it's in your gallbladder, it's in your spleen, it's in your stomach. Wow. Wow. Whew. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Ooh. You can you can squeeze your legs in. You can press out to the sides. Squeeze them in. Press out. Squeeze in. Press out. Feel the hips pull into the earth. Out. And that action of like, you can see it. Watch closely in this area. See how I'm flexing in, pulling in with the muscles on the inside of the thighs, the inner abductors. You can pull in deep into the groin. Then with these muscles on the outside of the thighs, you push out. here on the outside of the hips. That'll help alleviate some of the stress building up in your knees. All right, there we go. There is our third standing meditation practice for Thursday. Once again, as always, thank you for joining me. And those of you, I see there's some people sticking with me. I don't know if you're practicing or not. I wonder. I'm not really getting any comments. But if you are, that's good for you, and stick with it. This is challenging stuff to do. And, you know, the truth of it is it's not many people really have the fortitude for a daily meditative discipline. I mean, it sounds romantic when you hear people talk, oh, meditate, whatever. But you see the truth of it. It's not really very romantic. It can become monotonous, but this is the reality of dealing with subtle energy. But when you begin to develop a more powerful relationship with it, there are experiences that you will have in terms of your dream life, the synchronicities of the happenings in your life, that they really are what make the practice really rewarding. Not to mention just the slowing down of the aging process and the increased vitality. So, hey, have a good day.